We are going live.
We're going live right now.
Says we're live.
I see that we're live as well.
That is awesome.
Double confirm.
I want to steal. I like my friend. He's a YouTube person that I watch, so he's my friend now. Anton. He starts his videos with "Hello, wonderful people," and it's like,
Aww.
yeah, he's so like I love his personality, and he does a lot of cool science and space stuff. Also, I think that's kind of like he's part of my inspiration for why I wanted to do part of this because when you watch some of your YouTubers or your streamers, we'll just go generalized streamers, so it's not so much in YouTube. When you watch them, you kind of I think you fall into ones you identify more with, and I find that I like the ones that are more friendly and that don't treat the viewers as a commodity. You know what I mean? In that way.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there's one, my favorite, and it's hilarious because I remember I would watch BuzzFeed and stuff, and she was on BuzzFeed, and then I saw that she had her own YouTube channel, and her husband have their own channel, and I don't like her. I believe her audience is much younger than I am, but there's just something about her that I really like, and she's silly, and she doesn't mind not looking attractive, not that she ever looks ugly, but that she just likes to be silly and have fun, and I just love her attitude, and she's a weirdo. So yeah, I'm right there with you.
Did you have an
favorite?
do you have any way to promote that channel? Like, what's the name of it?
Her.
Yeah, I can't. I was trying to look up Anton better, but I can't because
Like,
being on the other profile, I don't have any of my YouTube stuff. I was trying to see, but well, you look that up. So today we have. Did you know that there's talking fish trying to take over the world?
I had no idea.
Yeah, we will cover that. It's really not too far down, and we should have put that at the end to keep everybody hooked forever. But it's our second main story, so because we wanted to cover the Tonga explosion and kind of look at some aerial views of that, like we said last time. And then I don't know if we said even like James Webb's coming up, but that's towards the end of our show today. So today, if you're listening already, we're going to talk about the Tonga explosion. Then we got some talking fish. Then we got some lizards with tails falling off. Mosquitoes, what colors they're attracted to. We got some sea scorpions. And then we have a little bit of metaverse stuff. Some navigation things. Yeah. And then just, techie stuff, techie and space stuff. Just different things. So let's get started. Did you?
So I found. Yep. It's Safiya Nygaard.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. We'll have to. We'll say we'll put links on our videos, but we won't. So
we won't. One day we will.
One day. We were just talking about how our website. If you notice, we don't have any upcoming events, but if you come to YouTube, you'll see we have a couple planned shows. So we definitely got to get better, and we're getting advice from project managers. To help us too.
Coworkers on how.
Yep, from coworkers how to improve our site, and it's not that we don't know. There are things that we don't know. A lot of things we don't know, but we also just don't put enough effort into it. So we got to step up our game a little bit for all our viewers.
We do. Well, I feel like we're learning, and instead of trying to do everything all at once, we're just trying to get better. That's what it feels like to me. We're trying to get better at the talking part and the content part, and then we really need to start working on getting
the marketing side.
Yeah. We're like, wait, now we actually have a good show. Now watch us.
Now watch us. Yeah, we've practiced long enough. We practiced for 2 years. We have hundreds of episodes. Now it's time to start watching us.
Now it's time to watch.
Oh, that's the best. That's awesome. Yeah, if we're doing 2 a week, we'll come up with 100 this year. So it's interesting.
All right, then. Yeah, we'll have to.
Isn't that crazy? We'll roughly have like 50, 60 on each topic channel. You know, it's same channel, but topic area.
Yeah.
And
No,
we're
that's
probably
awesome.
not going to break ours into two separate because it does. I find that content gets dry if you know, people the YouTubers seem to start on their one area and then they transition to somewhere. We're going to take a different approach. We're just going to do two right off the bat.
Yep. I think that's cool though.
All right.
Okay.
If you've been looking, and for our listening viewers, we have, I guess they wouldn't be a viewer then, listening subscribers. Not really sure, but we have some images of the Tonga volcano explosion. So to reiterate, if somebody hasn't caught this, there was a volcano explosion in Tonga. It looks like the name of the volcano was the Hunga Tonga Hunga Hapai. I totally butchered it, so that is something that I'm not good at. It wasn't intentional at all. Every pronunciation, I'm gonna do my best, but it's probably gonna be horrible. I can't even pronounce my own words. But yeah. So on January 15th, it was. I think it's gone down as the largest volcano explosion on record now.
Wow.
And so it was an underwater eruption. And it says the shockwave from the underwater eruption high up in the atmosphere. January 15th, equivalent of 4 to 18 megatons of TNT, which is crazy. And it was able to reach the outer layer of the atmosphere, which is like 60 miles above Earth's surface. So that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, and it was underwater. I went. That's insane.
It causes a tsunami.
Wow.
Enhance. And it's funny that, you know, I would think this would be important news, right? Discussing this, discussing the environmental impact, discussing, you know, how to sense these types of things earlier. But I knew the volcano exploded, but I didn't even know. I didn't consider a tsunami. So then what happened with the tsunami? Right? Like, what did that affect? I just know that Tonga's devastated. Yeah. So that, and then here's another view of it. Yeah, we'll go down in the history of volcanology. Oh, that's kind of cool. Eruption, rethink ideas and hazard. Oh yeah, that's pretty crazy. And then the eruption happened. Oh, there's still earthquakes. That's great.
That's scary. Well, because I mean, just thinking that the structures that were there were probably, you know, really fractured and, you know, structurally probably not sound, and then to continue having earthquakes would just make it even more dangerous. That's scary. I mean,
yeah.
After something bad happens, all you want to do is just feel safe again and not to be able to do that.
Yeah, and then you're just getting shook and shook and shook.
Yeah. Oh, that's so sad.
At least they were at the center of the volcano, so they wouldn't have got hit by a tsunami. So they did have that going for them a little bit. I mean, I don't know if there's any silver lining on this. It could have been worse though, but I don't think so. I think this is pretty much catastrophic. It's about the worst.
Yeah, you're like, worst is worst. That's just all it is. Wow. Really? Is that it? What happened?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. That's the soot level. And think about the breathing conditions. And you're on an island. That's the other thing. You're on an island. It's not like you can just drive to another part of the country. Like the United States has the has that benefit. I was trying to think of a better word. But
yeah, because I mean, I remember, well, I don't remember because I was still a little baby when St. Helens erupted. But it's my understanding, and I think my sister said she remembered having to wear like a face mask because of the ash in the air. But you know, and that was from where we were. It's not, it was close, but it wasn't super close. And yeah, that's crazy. It's the
And
only
they're
thing I could compare it to.
and they're also
Right?
saying that volcanoes in deep water rarely erupt through the ocean surface because of the
Mhm.
pressure. But this one
Yep.
was only 10 to 250 meters deep, so it was shallow enough it didn't suppress the power of the blast. But they didn't necessarily hit tons of the magma. So that, I guess, a couple of little things that worked out a little bit. But
I was curious about how deep it was because you think like it has to get through all that pressure and still have enough um momentum or whatever to make it all the way to that
the outer
outer
levels of the
atmosphere.
atmosphere, yeah.
Like, holy smokes. That's
We
insane.
gotta learn something from the volcanoes to be able to launch rockets a little better.
Volcanoes? Yep.
Let's see. Yeah. Didn't emit enough sulfur dioxide to change global climate. Oh, okay. See, this is one of the things that I think I talked about the last time, so I might have been
Mhm.
wrong. And they're saying here in this article that there wasn't enough sulfur dioxide. So, what we were talking about, if you get enough of the soot up into the atmosphere, it'll actually cause a cooling effect on the Earth. And so that's what they're saying, that it could help counteract global warming in some ways. And but it doesn't seem like that was the case. So,
Well, it
oh
looks like it cooled it temporarily. It said 0.5 degrees Celsius,
yeah, cool.
which
Yeah, good catch.
is still,
Huge, huge.
that's yeah, when you consider how big the Earth is.
Yep, the flat Earth.
Yeah, flat or
Sorry, we were
otherwise.
having a side conversation earlier. We're not minimizing our flat Earth viewers, but we
Viewers,
were having a discussion
viewer.
talking about
Do we
how
have any?
I don't know. We got two people watching right now, so maybe one of them's a flat earther, which is cool.
So yeah, we don't
We're
want to.
we're like just do your science experiments, and
Yep.
we're happy for you having that theory.
Yep.
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 You would have had to listen to our earlier discussion, and at no
Yeah.
point are we making fun of that group of people. We were talking about how they actually try to use science to they do use science to
Right.
test their theories and stuff.
Yeah,
It's just some of it's
doing
not the best
experiments and
science.
stuff. Yeah, but that's how we learn, right? We
Yep.
try things and they're successful or they fail and we keep trying. And so, yeah,
Yep.
if something like that gets somebody if believing the earth is flat gets people into science and trying things out.
And maybe most of the world's wrong. That's always a possibility.
Yeah.
You never know. I personally have not been in space. I have not been above whatever commercial airlines fly. So, I really have no way to know myself. I'm just taking other people's experiments in science.
Yeah.
So, all right, moving on. We have one last picture that we wanted to show.
Mm,
Look at this. Oh, am I gonna have to refresh? I think I am. I have to
I
come
think so.
down. All right, here we go. I don't think even if I. There we go. Look at how that ripple. Okay, so for the people listening, the explosion of the volcano rippled the atmosphere, and they have actual images of it rippling across the Earth.
It's insane. It's really beautiful. It's crazy
Yeah.
is what it
Oh,
is.
all right,
Yeah.
okay. So here they got an outline right here. There's the United States,
Oh yeah.
like the only country I can identify on a map. So,
Well,
but
that's it. It's a. I think that's probably the only one you can really see right here.
it
Anyway.
is, but it was just funny because
Yeah, 'cause
they
I'm
were
like,
talking about, like, I was listening earlier this week and people were talking about how they can't even point out places outside of the United States on a map. So I was just making a joke off of that. Oh, we got a little thing here. Fascinating depiction of the pressure wave associated with the Tonga eruption as it moved across the U.S. today. 15-minute pressure altimeter change via whatever altimeter. That's what it is. Whoa.
oh,
Okay, so you get to see the ripple across the United States. I wonder if that affected airlines, like airplanes flying. If they could have felt it. I know they're big and
Yeah,
like it would probably not happen, but that'd be crazy. So
that would be.
let's
I mean,
see.
it had to have had some. Well, I don't know. Maybe it was so quick that it wasn't a big deal.
Oh
It's
yeah.
weird though.
Here was the final thing too. The eruption was so powerful it caused the atmosphere to ring like a bell, though at a frequency too low to hear.
Look at that. It was a phenomenon theorized over 200 years ago. It took 200 years
Yep.
for that hypothesis to be. That's pretty cool
Yeah.
and scary and amazing.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
most sciences, right?
Yep. Yep. So, all right, we are done with that. We're gonna move on to
Can
our
you hear
headline.
that real
What?
quick?
No, I
Can you
don't hear
hear when
anything.
she barks? Okay.
I
We got a
didn't.
puppy. So, okay. I just wanted to make sure because I figured I could
Oh, now
mute
I can.
myself. Oh,
Yep.
dang. She's only gonna be a puppy for a little while longer, and then
Only a year or so.
only a couple more years. So, eventually we won't hear the barking anymore when
So
we start getting all of.
I think she was just getting excited about this story because she's like,
Mhm.
"Oh, you didn't lead with your headline," and of course not. So
Never. We got a catfish.
we got a catfish.
Sorry.
Well, I was just looking at the catfish. I don't even know. Yeah, it is a
Love it.
catfish in a pond. So it's just kind of funny. So, recently, I don't know, when I say recently, we have known for a long time that fish make sounds, but they have really honed in on fish talk to each other. And it was really interesting. Let's see. Let's see if I can find them real quick. Have you talked to fish before?
I actually had a betta fish that would come up and kiss my finger, and then I would give him a treat. Does that count as talking?
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
We were communicating.
So this is Anton. On the screen, I got
Oh,
Anton's
your guy?
channel. Huh? Yeah, this is my guy.
Your
Yeah,
your
but
guy?
he's the one that led me to this talking fish thing. This is how I came across this
Pretty cool.
article. Or well, I watched this video and then followed up on it. But yeah, Anton Petrov. But he goes on to talk about how they have studied coral reefs, and I guess if you're a scuba diver and you've scuba dived around coral reefs, as soon as you hit the water and get down in, like, not even down very far, I don't think, um, the ocean is super noisy in that area. You hear all these sounds and the scratching and stuff, and they've
Really?
concluded that it is, they've proven that it is fish talking to each other. And I believe the number that they found, and here we got I don't know if we'll be able to play the sound for everybody, but we'll be able to hear it. But 2/3 of fish they believe talk. It's not even just a
That's
few.
that's so cool.
Uh-huh. And so they can grind their teeth or make movement noise in the water. We do see number of specializations. Probably the most common adaptation is association to swim with bladders. Communicate with sound, much more talkative than the 1/5. Clearly, fish have important things to say. And I'm trying to figure out what some fish are chattier than others, with toadfish and catfish amongst the most verbose groups.
Hmm.
One of the ways they did the experiment was the coral talks. And when you look at bleached coral reefs, which is where they've died off,
Mhm.
and the water temperature has risen too much because they don't get much leeway in water temperatures for coral.
Right.
And so it raises and they go into basically a hibernation state, and it turns everything white, and the fish and all the other living stuff leaves. and then I think they die off eventually if it doesn't come back. But when new fish spawn and they're not necessarily in the reef, they never really knew for sure how they found the reef, and they thought it was just kind of like dumb luck, where they'd swim in a direction, but the reef calls to them. And so they've reproduced these experiments where they put spawned fish somewhere outside of the sound, and then it's basically like a homing beacon, and they just listen and they follow. And so it's really interesting.
That's so cool.
And he
So
explains it so much better, and his video is a lot better than what I've said. But
so they're like for some reason I just keep thinking of sirens. So is that what they're called? Like the
yeah, that would be
women that would call out
Mhm.
to the sailors and
Yep.
then they would die on the reef.
Yep, you're exactly right. That's fine.
Because as soon as I said sirens, I'm like, no, wait, like police sirens or other.
Yeah, I'm not able to get the sound out. We got to work on
Yeah,
that.
yep.
Note to self: improve sound for viewers. But I thought this was really interesting. So if they're talking to each other, and we already knew the elephant fish could communicate. If you're not familiar, it's I think the smartest fish.
I've never heard of it.
You never heard of an elephant fish?
Nope.
Elephant fish. What's this guy?
Australia's got like the coolest, craziest
Are they gonna talk about it?
habitats.
It's cool enough. Let's see. Elephant fish talking. But they don't talk with sound. They use electrical communication. So they use electrical discharges to communicate.
That's pretty cool. Sorry, I say cool all the time. I'm realizing it, and I'll make it.
You got to come up with a few other words to sprinkle in.
Yeah, talk about how cool things are.
Why are they signaling? They fire nerve impulses every time, upward, blah, blah, blah. So what are they talking about?
Yeah,
Probably just where they're at, what they like, stuff like that.
They're gregarious. It's awesome.
Yep. So talking fish do exist. So if you have some fish in a fish tank, definitely hook up a speaker to it and talk to them. No, I'm just joking. All right. Next up, we have lizards. How do lizards keep detachable tails from falling off? I've wondered this often. Well, first of all, I've wondered how they can just detach their tail. And then
yeah, it's weird.
If they can, I've never really thought about it, but once I saw the title, I was like, oh yeah, how do they really keep it on there without it just falling off?
And they come off so easy. So yeah, like where I live, we have a ton of lizards. And I was taking a baby one. There was a baby lizard in my bathtub one day. So I was picking it up and just the tip of its tail came off in my hand. And it was so weird because I didn't even realize I even touched it, the tip of its tail. So I was like, now I've got this little tail in my hand. It was sad. I felt really bad because it was just this tiny little guy. But yeah, I'm super curious.
So it says the answer may lie in the the appendage's internal design. A structure of prongs, micropillars, and nanopores hold the lizard's tail on tight enough to handle most of the jarring while remaining primed to drop it in case of an emergency. And so self-amputation or autonomy?
Autonomy?
Autonomy? I was just gonna autonomy. I would think would be
that's different.
Yeah, I don't know. Self-amputation. We'll stick with that one.
Yeah.
Of a limb is a common defense strategy in the animal kingdom, including for many lizard species. But it's a risky plan. A detachable limb brings with it increased risk of accidental loss from small bumps and snags. It has to find just the right amount of attachment so it doesn't come off easily, but it should also come off when needed. Just tapping the tip of the tail, I guess, wasn't a good one. The young guy hadn't learned, the young lizard hadn't learned how to keep his tail on very well.
Yeah.
And they say it's a fine balance. So,
yeah.
The lizard's tail consists of segments connected in a row. like plugs into sockets. The tail, oh, we got 4 minutes till break. So the tail can break off at any of these points called oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have a certain spot that it breaks off on. It can break off at any of these points. It's probably just like this upper part right here towards the hiney.
Yep.
But
yeah, we will see some like running around with, just a little nub there. But yeah, sometimes it's just the tip of their tail.
How long do you think it takes to grow back?
I don't know. I'm curious though to find out.
They better tell us.
I hope so. We'll have to look it up. I wonder, so do iguanas, do their tails detach? I'm gonna look it up and I'll tell you.
And then I think you're gonna need to look up how long it takes to grow back. I thought it was a little while. So they're talking about if the researchers also noticed like imprints on the interior walls of the socket left behind by the prong's micropillars, like fingers pressed into clay. This came as a surprise. They expected the micropillars would be fully interlocked within the socket, more like Velcro. Instead, the pock-marked micropillars weren't providing any extra grip that would secure the tail to its owner. So it's not like Velcro. That's not what I would have guessed too.
I know, that's...
Suspecting the nanospores speckle may play another role. Team built a replica lizard tail and a rubbery flesh-like material to mimic the separation of the tail from the body. This allowed researchers to examine the forces at work during a tail implantation. Wow. They, instead of experimenting on poor little lizards, they just built fake ones.
That's interesting.
That's good science there. I mean, yeah, if it accomplishes your goal, perfect. You don't have to experiment on creatures. They found that the deep crevices between the micropillars, along with the small potholes on the micropillar surface, slow the spread of the initial fracture.
Oh.
There's a crack coming.
I guess it would make more sense to make one if you could, because everything would be so small. It'd be hard to really see what was happening, too.
Oh.
I did find that it can take more than 60 days to regenerate a functional tail.
And your iguana question?
It says that grain iguanas and bearded dragons can drop and regrow their tails. But iguanas can use their tails for, like, they can swat you with their tails and it hurts.
Have you been swatted before?
Well, I've had iguanas before and they would swat at me. I never got hit with one. They were just, small. But I know when they get really big, you have to be careful because it can be painful.
Can their hit break your arm if it hits you?
I don't know. I'll Google it.
That would be crazy, right? Because I've seen some pretty big iguanas. When I was with my grandma in Aruba, we had this iguana that was sitting on one of the roofs, and it was pretty big. I wouldn't go mess with them. Like the little lizards I see all over Florida. I don't care about chasing those, but something that gets, I don't know, a couple feet big, I'm not going to mess with. If it's cat size, I'm good.
Yeah. This says large iguanas are capable of breaking a person's arm. That's one reason not to grab one by the tail.
Yep.
I do not know if it doesn't go into detail if that's with their tail. I'll see what I can.
No, they just bite your arm and snap it.
Yeah, exactly. Watch out.
And while you're looking that up, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say they're saying here, it's interesting because think about adjusting how you know your body. So they drop their tail, and it's not necessarily in their best interest also because it affects their ability to run, leap, and mate, but and escape future predators. So this is like, it's not something that they I don't think they choose to do it just randomly. You know, it's like they got to
No.
probably evaluate risk and decide, all right, it's time to go.
Yeah. Yeah, well, cuz once they drop it, they can't do it again for a couple months. So they're like, am I really in danger right now?
Yeah, and iguanas can live to be really old too, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
20,
it
30
does say
years.
an iguana's main source of defense is not biting or scratching, but whipping its tail. Large iguanas are capable of breaking a person's arm. So,
Yeah, don't touch
yep.
iguanas is the moral of the story.
Yeah. Just let them be.
Yeah,
They're
and
nature's creatures.
for when you and your family are visiting somewhere that has lizards and they're small enough to handle, just don't handle them because
Yeah.
you don't
Which is
know.
hard because
I
people
know.
love we when my brother came to visit and he was running around our house like well, outside. We don't get him inside very often. Running around outside like catching the lizards. And we have geckos too, which he was even more excited. They come out at night.
Yeah, yeah, and it's cool if you're really careful.
Yeah.
Maybe you can
Yeah.
handle them. Just try your best not to upset them.
Yeah.
I guess would be.
Yeah. The little ones. Leave the little the kiddos. Let the kiddos not pick up lizards because they can get bit and we
Yeah, that
usually
too.
aren't
Yeah,
very
don't let them think
careful with
chasing the
them.
little ones, and then they go to try to grab up an iguana, and next thing
Yeah.
you know, you have like they'll talk about somebody gets decapitated by a tail swat or something.
Ugh, I
Yeah,
hope not.
that'd be a PR disaster for Disney if
Yeah.
they had some little kid get smacked. So they already got crocodiles eating people.
Yeah.
Now they
I
got
know.
or
Yeah, you have to be
alligators, right? You guys have alligators,
alligators,
yeah,
yeah.
not crocodiles.
Yeah. Yeah, you
So
gotta be careful down here in the around the water. Definitely wouldn't go swimming
yeah,
in any
that's one of the things
outdoorsy areas.
that when I've thought about like people boating or jet skiing and stuff, I don't think that's common on your fresh water, is it?
Uh-uh.
Yeah,
Nope. Well,
that's what
because
I
you
thought.
also have to take into I mean, it's not just alligators, but we also have snapping turtles.
Big ones.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
Okay.
So you have to
Big
be
ones that can
careful.
stay with alligators, so they gotta be.
Yeah,
They hold
exactly.
their own.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm sure that there's people that go swimming in the water around here, but we're close enough to the Gulf that I think most people just go to the Gulf. They're like swimming with the sharks will be way safer.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually,
The
that
stingrays,
is.
you just shuffle your feet and everything's good. And
Yeah. You're. That's exactly right. Like when you're doing your risk analysis, you're like,
yeah,
I'm gonna take my chance with the sharks. And when you think about that, just talking about it, it sounds crazy,
it
but it
sounds
really
so
isn't.
crazy.
It really isn't.
Yeah,
So.
because there was a few times we went swimming at night in the Gulf. We were out on a pontoon boat and we just like jump in the water. And then I do remember Rick being like, "There's sharks." I'm like, "That let's not talk about sharks right now. We're just having fun. We're just hopping in and getting out because it's so hot even at night. It's just fun to just hop in and cool off real quick and go boating around and stuff. But yeah, it is
Yeah. I don't know.
a little scary.
I don't know if I could do it. That's one of my fears is deep water swimming. So
Well, it wasn't deep. And we were, I mean,
could you touch the
we
bottom?
weren't out. I didn't try.
Yeah, exactly. That's deep.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's
I
not
mean,
that
we
I
were,
don't swim in water that I can't touch the bottom. I'm a fairly proficient swimmer.
yeah, I'm
But
not. I'm not a great swimmer, so it's best for me to stay up top.
when I'm in the ocean, I prefer to know there's a bottom somewhat near. And even
Yeah.
then, sharks have been known to swim in like a few feet of water.
Yeah.
So don't even just consider it because you can stand in the water, you're not going to get. But
Yeah.
the
Well, yeah,
numbers,
it's scary
but the numbers
because
of shark attacks are so low, though.
yeah, no, that's true. Sorry, I didn't mean to keep talking over
Oh,
you.
that's okay. No, it is scary though.
Yeah, I was just thinking like the last time we went down to Clearwater, we went in the water and somebody had mentioned, the undertow was pretty strong. But you can go really far out and still touch.
Oh,
So we were quite a ways out and it was still probably only waist level.
hmm.
And so we're just hanging out there, chit-chatting with some other people that were nearby. And there was like kids quite a ways out farther than us, and you could see that they were still touching. They were swimming a little bit. They were with their parents, but it wasn't crazy. Um, it was so hard to get back. It got scary a little bit because even though we were walking, the, the undertow was really strong, and it's deceiving. And I don't know what made me think of that. I guess because we were talking about just being out in the Gulf or whatever. But yeah, it just walking back and being like, we're like, oh, we don't need to worry about the undertow because we're only at waist level. But when your whole like your waist and below is keeps getting pushed back, you can get tired really quick trying to keep moving forward because two steps forward, 1.5 steps back. Took us like 20 minutes to get back. It only took us like a minute or two to get out that far. It was yeah, crazy. And we were adults. I was like, I hope those kids, luckily they were with their parents.
And that's how people get
Anyway,
swept away real quick, right?
yeah.
They
Yeah.
lose their footing, and then once you just think about if you didn't have your feet on the ground, right?
Yeah.
So that and then I believe you're supposed to swim parallel with shore or move parallel with shore while trying to come in. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like an angle. You're supposed to not fight it as much and kind of like I don't know. There's a way to help yourself not get caught up in it too bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and I think that's what we ended up doing. We just like took our time and because we weren't in any hurry. Um,
yeah, undertow is
and
super
so we
scary. But then maybe that's a trick by the sharks. Like there's some big whales and
they're trying to
stuff.
get you to stay out there longer. Just
Yeah.
go diagonal.
Yeah, just go
Or go to
diagonal.
the
They're
left.
like there's some shark propaganda, and they were like, it's like our daddy long legs guy.
It totally is.
There's some shark
That's
writing some
awesome.
blog posts. It's like, okay, this is what everybody needs to do for undertow. You need to go and stay in the water longer and just keep walking, and eventually we can swim faster than you can walk. So we're gonna get you.
It's a win-win.
It's a win-win. Yep. And then they're hoping that the humans get tired out, and so then they just come out to them. And it's like, we didn't have to swim for this one. They got this big master plan.
They totally do. They're so smart. And now we know that they're talking to each other.
And they're talking to each other, coordinating. They're coordinating their attack between the crabs. Like a crab bites your toe to make you lose footing. And then you got some stingray that spikes you. Or no, you step on the stingray and he carries you out. He's kind of like
Yeah, you have to be
a flying
careful stepping
carpet.
on stingrays for sure.
Yeah, you don't get
Yeah.
spiked, right? Isn't that what
Yep.
it is? Yep.
It
All right.
happened to my aunt.
So we are
Mhm.
going to take our break now, and we will be back at 8:45. Today's show is ending promptly at. You had to be done at 9:30.
9:30.
Yeah,
Yep.
so we're gonna be ending even earlier than that. Not even earlier, but we'll see how far we get. We're halfway down our list. So
Yeah.
5-minute break. We'll be back at 8:45, or well, if you're watching the time and your Eastern Standard. So
We'll be back in 5 minutes.
yeah, we'll be back in 5
Otherwise.
minutes. All right, here's our music. Oh, let me turn off the music. We need to get better music. Not better. We need to change up our music a little more.
Yeah, we do. Maybe
All right.
that'll be a new thing
This
that I do.
this week's task. so many tasks. So we haven't even really improved our content, but I don't know. So
That's all right. It's time to start throwing other things in.
yep. All right, we'll see everyone in 5 minutes. Poor lizard guy. That's just so horrible for him. Alright, let's pull these out. I hope everyone's having a good day today. It's early, but it's here it's sunny, a little snowy, but still nice. Pull these out. Ah, I don't see anybody talking in chat. Very sad. We'd like to hear your thoughts and opinions. You can communicate with us. No, so I sound sad, but no. If we would love to interact with our community at some point. Trying to figure out. Oh, there we go. Stop. Start. And there we go. Back on our tail. Cool, cool, cool. I don't know if you'd rather listen to me mumble or the music, our old timey music.
Our old timey music.
I know. I always think it's just like old timey music. I like that type of music. I like old timey, kind of like, the cheesy movie Wild West type.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. And they're doing goofy stuff, running really fast or whatever.
That's awesome.
So,
Yeah,
you know what Grandma said when I went downstairs?
that we're not live.
No, we're live. Grandma was like, so next time when that we go somewhere that has lizards, we need to catch one and see if we can make the tail fall off. I was like, seriously? I'm gonna tell everybody you said that, Grandma. Yeah, that was the opposite of our message, Grandma. So it's funny.
That's awesome.
And I figured out who our other person was, so it was Grandma and my mom.
Aw,
Because my mom texted me, she remembered to watch us today. It's like, well, that's good.
yeah, that's awesome.
We got 2 viewers. So
Yeah.
you can always enter in chat. Please, please, please. Just
Oh,
say,
yeah, I should
hey, you're
probably
here.
bring that up.
But so moving on. Our next one is exciting for especially people that do camping or outdoors in the evening. And mosquitoes are attracted to specific colors, even. I knew
Whoa.
that they were always attracted to certain odors and scents. And I did not know they were attracted to colors. So,
Yeah, I used to get eaten by mosquitoes all the time when I was a kid, and my mom said it was because I was so sweet. Aw.
that's kind of funny because, yeah, I think it's what perfumes and stuff that they're attracted. I don't know. I get destroyed by mosquitoes. That's why I'm not much of a outdoor woods person. Mosquitoes and poison ivy and ticks. That's like my nemesis is for the woods, and that's like what woods are involved. Like have tons of.
Yeah.
So
That's all it is.
yeah, that's
That's
all.
what
That's all the
woods
woods
are made
are
of.
up here in the Midwest, the northern Midwest. But let's see. A new University of Washington-led study shows that after detecting a telltale gas that we exhale, yeah, see, that's what I thought it was had to do with our exhale too. Try not to breathe around the campfire.
Yes, they can't like hide underwater with like the little.
The little straw, the
Straw or
fly in the
whatever.
straw. Oh, that would suck. So all those
They're
movies
like,
were
I know
yeah.
you're around here somewhere.
That's yeah, we debunked all those like castle movies where somebody's in the moat, or in a
Mhm.
swamp with their little straw up. No, there would be mosquitoes flying in that straw and you would be choking.
Yep, toast.
So yellow fever mosquitoes. Oh, are you there it might be specific mosquitoes, but just what the ones they used. Fly towards specific colors, including red, orange. Oh my, no wonder black. I wear black shirts all the time. Red,
It's all
orange,
coming
black, cyan, but they ignore other colors such as green, purple, blue, and white. Okay, there you go. So, colors not to wear when you're outdoors at night: red, orange, black, and cyan. But then other colors, green, purple, blue, and white, are safe.
I have a little problem with it. Well, at night. I guess during the day it would still work, but I have a feeling that purple and blue would look black at night. So it
That's
probably at
interesting.
night you'd want to go with white. Just saying.
Yeah, that is a very good point. Because, I mean, we got two cyan and then regular blue, and they're on different things. Let's see. Mosquitoes appear to use odors to help them distinguish what's nearby. Yep, like a host to bite. Yep, sounds exactly like what mosquitoes do.
Mm.
And then when they smell specific compounds like carbon dioxide from our breath, the scent stimulates the eyes to scan for specific colors and other visual patterns. Okay. So when you exhale, don't move and make sure you're wearing the right colors. And they won't be able to find you. And sit downwind so then all your exhale, like blow your exhale towards somebody else so they get bit. that's also
awesome.
gross in the coronavirus times, but
Yeah, or like, wait,
just
I'm
in
throwing my
general, and
breath.
not even just coronavirus, but yeah, still. I hate that, like when you catch like real exhale from somebody, it's just I don't know. That's something I'm not a fan of. Oh, traveling on the subway for many years, you get a lot of that. It's just it's
A
like
lot of
humid,
breeders.
stuffy air.
Yep. I just want to say, so Grandma reached out and she said she's not a mean person,
She's
and
not,
I agree.
not a,
You are not a mean person.
just to iguanas and lizards.
Well, come down here. We've got lots of lizards, and you can try
Oh,
and
she was
catch
just joking. I was just trolling her for a change. She trolls me all the time. All
No,
the time.
I'm sure you do deserve it.
I do. I totally deserve it. Okay, let's see. So, like all mosquito species, only females drink blood.
Mhm.
Yellow fever, blah, blah, blah. Odor stimulates, largely ignored. A dot at the bottom of the chamber. Okay. So, it's a combination of the odors and the colors. Because they ran a test where they put, whatever odors mosquitoes are attracted to. They did not stimulate them, so they did not put the odor in, but then they put colors, a dot at the bottom. But then a spritz of carbon dioxide into the chamber, mosquitoes continued to or ignore the dot if it was green, blue, or purple in color. But if the dot was red, orange, black, or cyan, mosquitoes would fly towards it. Pretty simple experiment, really.
Yeah.
Really, really easily reproducible, and I don't know, that's pretty easy. So they're saying that once you exhale, or once they get their odor, they catch whatever odors they're attracted to, that enhances their eyesight, and they start scanning the field of view or scanning around looking to see what they can bite. Huh. Okay, here we're getting into more of the science. So, after smelling carbon dioxide, the mosquito's eyes prefer certain wavelengths in the visual spectrum. It's similar to what might happen when humans smell something good. Huh. That's exactly it. When I smell a good bakery item, that is something that really, it's like, that smells so good. I don't know. That is one of my favorite scents, is like, you worked in a bakery, you're like, nah, I'm tired of that smell. But
Never.
that is one of the things, like you're walking down the street, especially in like a big city or something, and you got all those scents and stuff, and that is one that, it's always like, I don't know if it's because it smells like donuts sometimes or something. But
Oh man, donuts do smell good. Like I really don't. Well, it's been a long time since I was near an actual bakery, but in Portland there was a donut shop just down the street from my house, and I would pass it often in the evening, and they would always make their donuts at night. And they were open 24 hours, which was awful because the last thing you need, like you're going home, it's like 11 o'clock at night, and there's fresh donuts being made. And so there was a few times I couldn't take it, and I would have to go in and get
I
a like
hate you
fresh
guys.
hot donut. I know, I'm like,
You're the worst place ever.
this is not fair. Like I'm walking by. I just was at the Mexican restaurant down the street. That was amazing. And now the last thing I need is a donut, but here I go, grabbing one.
That's so funny.
It's
So
funny.
even more into the science. It says that red, orange, red, and black correspond to longer wavelengths of light. and then human skin, regardless of pigmentation. And so, if you don't know what that means, that would be regardless of skin color, also gives off a long wavelength signal in the red orange range. That is crazy.
Really?
Yeah. Huh. That is way wow.
That's really
So,
cool. I had no idea.
yeah, I really had no idea. I mean, I guess that's how you would see it, and that's what is reflecting. So, huh. That's really
So
interesting.
it's
So,
not it's
go ahead.
not just about what's on the inside, but it's also like mosquitoes don't see color either. I love that.
Yeah,
We're
they
all
don't
the same
care.
on the
They
inside.
bite
We're all
every.
the same to a mosquito.
Yeah, yeah. That's exactly what that said. The like mosquitoes don't care. They'll bite everybody equally.
Mhm. Yep.
Um,
We're all
change
human to
division.
mosquitoes.
We're more we're more colorblind in the present. Like could no longer see. Yeah, whatever. So that's really interesting. So definitely, if you're trying to avoid mosquitoes, it looks like you want to wear green, purple, blue, and white. And I do like your point about at nighttime. I think purple and blue could look like black. So at night, you'd probably want to wear white or green, and it would probably be a bright green. Um, and then you want to also make sure you have as much of your skin covered as possible.
Yeah, that's important.
It's kind of interesting.
Mhm.
And don't breathe. That's the other major thing.
Yeah.
Because
Of
like that
course,
starts it all.
don't
You
breathe.
can actually be out there in just your skivvies or your birthday suit, and as long as you don't breathe, you won't get bit. So
Yep. Yeah, and don't be outside in your birthday suit.
around a campfire.
Yeah,
That sounds
anywhere.
dangerous.
Just go ahead and stay home.
All right, moving on. We have the youngest sea scorpion fossil found in Australia. And we just picked on this one because it was super interesting. We like old ancient stuff.
Yep.
And then I didn't even know there were
Australia.
sea scorpions, so now I'm even more scared of the ocean.
Well, I don't think these ones are around anymore. It said they lived in Australia
Yeah,
252 million years ago. I think you're safe
yeah,
from the sea
probably
scorpion.
safe, probably safe. And that's the funny thing. Like I'm fine. Like my fear actually is I'm fine under the water. So if I was, I've never scuba dived, but if I was I've snorkeled before. So snorkeling, as long as I can see under and see kind of like stuff, I'm okay. So scuba diving would be fine with me. It's just when I got my legs dangling, it makes me think like I'm a fishing lure. And that is
Like that scene in Jaws.
Yep.
You're like,
Yep.
wait.
I think that's probably it. I watched Jaws probably a million times as a kid. That's probably exactly it.
I know. I bet there's a lot of people our age and older that feel similar, that were kids when that movie came out. We all saw it. Like, now I'm scared. We're forever scared to go back in the water.
So they're talking about hold on, I got a cough.
Uh-oh.
Oh, it's okay. It's oh
You're
going
sick.
downhill. Yep. I'm sick now. Had a cough. It's actually kind of like a cough burp combo, but
Awesome. Good job.
yeah,
You're
I know.
like, I'm multitasking.
Yeah. I don't know. But they found, let's see, a large incomplete fragment of this. I'm not even Woodward's Paposterus freemanorium's cuticle with distinct. Wow, they're really just trying to mess up anybody reading this thing. Ornamentation was found in the rural town of Theodore in central Queensland, which is Australia. The specimen is at least 11 million years younger than any previously known Euryptoterid fossil. Huh. Yeah, I guess I should have taken like Latin or something.
Nah, I think this is fun.
It's fun. Yeah, it's fun butchering
Yeah.
words.
Well, one thing that I do like about it is you're trying, like you don't need to be perfect to still enjoy it. I think
Yeah.
that's one
Oh,
thing
I
that
know.
I picked up last time when we were doing this. I'd ask you, I remember asking a couple questions and you're like, oh, I don't know. And it is nice to have somebody that is learning something and not be nervous like, oh yeah, I don't know what that means either, let's find out. I don't know, I think it's very cool. So
Yeah, pronunciation of big words
word.
is tricky, or of just words in general. They don't gotta be big. Just ones you're not commonly seeing and reading, and then especially
Mhm.
speaking out loud. And
Yep.
that is, it's just like if you read books, real books, right? Ones that
Hmm.
have more than 10 pages.
Yep.
Um, there's
Ones that
usually
don't
a
have a
lot,
lot of pictures.
huh?
Ones that don't have a lot of pictures.
Okay, yeah, let's go with that. Ones with few pictures. And so a lot of times when you're reading them, when they're writing, they use words that you don't encounter commonly in your day-to-day life, like most people don't
Mhm.
encounter commonly. And so then I think the act of reading and trying to pronounce pronounce the words. I was gonna say pronunciate, but pronounce the words. So I can't even talk about the ones I use all the time. But you get better at it. So yeah, you got to try. You got to try and just say it out loud. And that's one of the things that kids in school when they're being asked to read out loud. It it only sucks when you have people laughing at you. And certain things are a little funny, right? There's obvious giggles, and as a reader, you have to allow that, right? If you say
Mhm.
something that like fart or something, think of kids or just something
Yeah.
silly, they're gonna chuckle. And then if you mispronounce it, a word that a lot of people know, you'll probably get a little laugh or kind of something, right? But you can't lose confidence on that because the only way you're gonna get better is by doing it more. That's almost true for everything. The only way you're gonna get better is doing it more. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a
That's
fine
it.
line, right? Because they're just kids, so you can't. Because I remember reading in school out loud. I wasn't a bad reader because I read a lot, but it was still scary. It was always a very scary feeling to read out loud. So that's why I don't mind
Yeah.
because I don't really care what people think of me. So
I was a horrible reader and I was very conscious of what people thought. So yeah,
yeah,
for
so
me it
you're
was
very aware of that,
terrifying.
right? It
Yeah,
is.
it was terrifying. But at the same time, like, um it really does. I mean, now I love reading and I'm a much better reader. But yeah, I just had to find it in my own time. But
Yeah, but you don't read out loud though, do you? It's
no, and
interesting.
I should because
Read to Rick.
I do.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
read you a
I know.
bedtime story, Rick.
Yeah, no, I remember when I moved down here and I went to back to school. My grandma was telling me that I should be when I read that I should read out loud because it does help. Because she was doing she's done the now I can't remember what it's called Toastmasters.
Oh, okay.
She was
Yeah.
doing Toastmasters, and that's one of the things that they say is to read out loud because then it helps with your pronunciation and your cadence when you're talking and stuff. So there's actually, yeah, like you said, there's a ton of benefits to reading out loud, and and it's not just to torture kids in school.
Yeah. Now I'm sure some teachers do, but and
Yeah.
then and as a teacher, I think you should recognize that that's like I mean, I'm sure they know that that's a big fear. I would personally probably if I was a teacher, I'd try to have the kid read to me, practice without the students for a while, right? If you pick up that there's a little bit of trouble reading out loud and they don't have the confidence to carry through the difficult stuff, then you got to practice them up. You got to help them. I think
Yeah,
that's
maybe
like don't.
that's
Oh, go ahead.
a part where and I hate to say this because I don't have kids, but maybe that's also like where the parents come in.
Hmm,
It's giving them a safe place where they can practice reading out loud
that's a good point.
without the kids around
Yep.
because that is something that they're going to be doing in school. So,
Yeah. Just make sure your siblings aren't around. They're the most brutal.
or make sure that they are around because they will be more brutal than
That is
so
true.
when the kids are at school they're like I heard way worse. You got nothing on my
Yeah.
siblings.
That's like Link's like immune to people yelling at him now because he's just like, yeah, my dad's way worse.
Yeah, he's like, I don't. I'm an only child, and
Yeah.
I've heard worse.
Yep. Yep.
He's a good kid. He
Yep.
did a good job.
So moving on, that was really interesting. It's just a old, just an old fossil that they found, and I love how you keep finding. fossils earlier and earlier and earlier. It's like, oh man, this one's like 11 million years younger than the one we found last. We might cover this fun topic. I watched a video last night and they talked about myths and how people might have arrived at the myths. And they covered like Santa Claus and they covered cyclopses. And it was crazy.
I saw that.
Did you see that where there's a skull
Yeah.
of an elephant, a certain type of elephant, where the trunk mounts in its forehead? Actually, if you look at the skull, it looks like a cyclops skull.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I would totally draw that exact conclusion.
Yeah. It makes perfect sense. It's like flat Earth.
Yeah, and so then they never really saw a live thing. They just found all these fossils. And if you think about, thousands of years ago, people finding fossils that have no context to where they came from or what's going on, and no deep time knowledge, right? They don't know how to evaluate their spot in time. And
Yep.
so it's just it was like, yep, I totally see that one. And so this guy was doing like, I don't know, he does the underwear test, and it's basically, if it's true, it's like tidy whities, and then if it's false or unbelievable, it gets to more loose underwear or something. It was just kind of
I
funny.
don't know this reference. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know either. That's like it was the first, but it was just we'll cover it next week or the week
Okay,
after.
that's awesome. I like it.
It was
Yeah,
really.
there's-
I think his channel was Joe Scott, I believe. But our pledge to you, we will get better at dropping links of people we talk about beforehand in our videos, or slightly within a day or two afterwards.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we
Before
just
we
think of
forget
the
all about it.
person. Yeah, we like today. I wouldn't have known to talk about Joe Scott because I was just watching him last night, and so or earlier this week or whatever. And so then but we will get better on that part, because it's interesting if people want to go follow these other people and we're like, yeah, we're not helping them at all. So moving on, this one's really interesting. So Lockheed Martin has 2 years ago, mind you, this is 3 years ago now, has developed a quantum magnometer. And another topic that I'd like to get into, and this is something for you to remind me of, Darcy, is consciousness. I'm starting to explore the theories of how maybe we have like little mini quantum computers in our head. It's interesting.
Really?
And so we'll talk about that more offline. But yeah, just remind me about that one. But this one, like when I see quantum, it makes me instantly go to that now. Not quantum computers per se, but something when
Like
you're
Quantum
talking
Leap.
quantum leap. But so this magnometer, special, let's see how much of it they talk about it. This team has developed a prototype magnometer, which is probably not prototype anymore, that uses a synthetic diamond the size of a salt crystal to measure the direction and strength of nearly imperceptible magnetic field anomalies. They overlay that data with the maps of the Earth's magnetic field supplied by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Association to produce precise location information. So let's break that down. There's a lot of stuff going on in there.
That was a lot.
First of all, let's backtrack to how birds navigate without GPS. See, that would be the best if you see like an eagle pull out a cell phone. Like, all right, Google, how do I get to my other nest? Or the birds that migrate during season changes. They're like, okay, how do we get back to our vacation destination? That would be, I just love it. Like, so they use the magnetic fields on the Earth to guide them. It's super crazy. And I should have had as my backup how they do that, but I don't. I did look into it, but I don't remember all the details. But this is replicating how animals that use the magnetic field navigate. And what this allows is you don't need GPS satellites, you don't need any of that. It is a self-contained system that can figure out where its place on the world is at any point in time. And that is huge for applications like underwater, for applications in where you can't get GPS telemetry from satellites and stuff. So maybe caves, I think, things like that.
Ooh,
Yeah,
yeah. Spelunkers.
yeah. I mean, you can track where you're going and stuff. So I think the implications on this is huge, um, of being able to do it. And then the obvious, the military side of things. But I'm sure that's why they developed it, because if you have satellites and somebody takes down satellites and you're depending on those for all your navigation of all your stuff, you just went dark. So it is smart to have a backup plan when you can't use GPS. And then I'd imagine in the future we won't even really rely on GPS, and then maybe we can get rid of some of those satellites that are up in the sky.
Yeah.
Or repurpose
Clean
them
it
for
up a
something
bit.
else. So they call it dark ice, which is super cool.
Amazing. Yeah. Yeah. Whoever came up with that name was like,
To your
really
reference,
the
Cisco,
Cisco of
right?
the
Yeah.
team. Yeah.
And if you don't
We're
know what
legit-
we're referencing, you need to look that up on your own.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're not
Cisco
good.
was amazing.
Yep. He's the best namer ever, even though we know that there's writers that wrote for
Yeah.
his character. But yeah. So,
That
yeah.
reminds me. So
Go ahead.
the other day I was looking at myself, and the way that my hair is right now, I totally have Cisco hair. It's pretty ridiculous. I was like, oh no, I look like Cisco. And of course I started laughing. He knew exactly what I was talking about. So yeah, I need
That's
a
so
haircut.
funny. Yeah. They can produce true magnetic field vector while at the same time having a very large dynamic range and bandwidth. It's unjammable. Yeah, it's cool.
That's so great, because to be able to have a backup for not getting lost. And um I'm just thinking of out in the oceans. um I mean, I don't really know how many ships get lost out at sea. I
I don't
don't know
know.
if it happens very often,
Yeah, if your
but
GPS goes out, what do you do? I
yeah,
mean, I'm
it
sure
would be
real
really
captains
scary.
use like, um, like real old school navigation techniques, right?
Yeah, yeah, well, you would have to, but what about when it's cloudy, or whatever? If it's
Okay, you've
if
just
it's
set up the
day,
worst scenario. So they've lost their GPS.
I,
It's cloudy, so they
yeah,
can't see the stars. Um,
yeah,
yeah, and
yeah.
there's
You
no
just kind
land
of have to wait
references.
till daytime, and you have to be like, okay, well, here's the sun. There's like
Hmm.
so many things that could go wrong. Um, to have a backup for your backup would be, you're like, okay, well, nothing's changed. The magnetic uh, Earth is still here, so I don't know what you would call that, right?
The magnetic fields on the Earth. Yep.
Yeah, there you go. The magnetic
And they
fields are
move and
still
they
there.
adjust, but I think it's all
Yep.
predictable and everything like that. So, all right. Next, okay, we're getting into some not kid-friendly stuff, but it is about kids. So if you have
It's
young
not
children,
kid friendly. It's
I
a
know.
thing to consider.
No, I'm being silly.
You're like getting
So
scared.
moving on to the metaverse.
Yeah.
A metaverse app allows kids into virtual strip clubs. Ooh, every 13-year-old boy's dream.
It totally is.
But
This is a girl.
well, not every. That is a horrible generalization, but I don't think I'm too far off, but I don't know. And I didn't say what they're looking at, so who knows? But a researcher posing as a 13-year-old girl witnessed grooming, sexual material. Yeah, horrible stuff. Just absolutely horrible stuff. I wonder if this is the same one. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I do want to point this out. I did see a different take on this. So, what is going on? She entered a chat room. It's basically a virtual reality chat room where you have avatars walking around and interacting with each other. And they are interacting with each other not appropriately for young 13-year-old people to be seeing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there are no locks on, there's no way to prevent, they don't have any safety protocols in place yet to stop um, age ratings, right?
Yep.
Um, Using an app with a minimum age. Oh, well, I take that back. So they have an age rating of 13. And then I guess you can't really control. That'd be interesting. So
Well, would
they
that be
go ahead.
oh, go ahead.
Oh no, go
Well,
ahead.
just because different cultures have, and countries and stuff have a different age of um
Consent.
what an adult is. Yeah. So I wonder, maybe this like the gray area? Like all of a sudden, just because 13-year-old might be considered an adult or ready for marriage or whatever in one country, but it's not in ours. Is that the the leak or whatever? You know?
I don't think so. I think it's actually even it's kind of sillier. I don't know how you'd prevent it, but that is a very good point, and that's going to add to the complexities of how do you monitor the metaverse, right?
Hmm.
How do you put safety protocols in and stuff like that? But the thing that I think, and I may be not correct on this particular app. I have not used whatever app they're talking about. They're not saying what the app is, but every avatar I've seen does not have genitalia. So when they say they're simulating sex acts, it would be not with like actual things like that. It would just
Hmm.
be the motions, right? And so
Yeah, and
go ahead.
I saw another one and it said, I saw an article earlier and I didn't grab it. It was why avatars don't have legs. So
Oh,
do you see them with legs?
yeah,
I'm
I've
just
seen them with
curious. I've
legs.
never.
Yep,
Oh,
yep,
okay.
yep. A lot of the
Okay.
new metaverse, you walk around and
You're
yeah, you have
actually
legs.
your
Yep,
avatar is walking. Okay.
yep, yep. I don't know about breasts. I'm not sure. I don't again, I don't really check out avatars. So I don't really know. Like it's kind of like that one that I keep going back to. Like I noticed the building in the back instead of the half naked girl, you know?
Right.
And so
Exactly.
it's kind of like I would be like, oh, that's really cool design. I wonder how they built that programmatically. And I'm not saying I don't pay attention at all, but it's just kind of like, dismiss it
It's
because
not your
that's just
first.
well, it's so common. Like that's an easy visual grab to do stuff like that. So, but so they were doing simulated sex acts and and they had sex toys. So this really sounds like an inappropriate app to begin with.
Yeah.
But here's what the version I heard, and I think this is the same telling of the same story. Um, that the avatars that a bunch of we'll just go with their narrative. A bunch of adult male or a bunch of male avatars came and surrounded her and were super inappropriate and saying super inappropriate things. And then with it being in the context of she was posing as a 13-year-old girl, even more horrible, right?
Mhm.
But people are horrible, especially
Yeah.
online.
Yeah.
The thing that I can't get past is VR and an app is totally different than real life. It's harder to get out of that situation in real life. Would you agree? Like when you're being surrounded, like if you're in VR, just take off your headset.
Um.
No? This could be a
Uh.
male perspective that's
I think
inaccurate, but
it is. Well, it not just a male, but an adult perspective, and because I think that is a thing, and hopefully we're teaching our kids that that is the right thing to do. But I'm an adult too, so I don't know how kids are raised any these days. Uh, but I do know what
by
it was like for
wolves.
me as a kid. Right, exactly. But I think there's we teach our kids to respect adults, and we teach kids that it's not okay to talk back, and that it's not okay to be disrespectful. And one of the things that slides in when we do that, I feel, is that um we can't we don't teach kids when to say things are inappropriate, and then those are the times that it's okay to not listen to an adult, and it's okay to be disrespectful or
Good point.
whatever, because it's not. So I and because I'm not a kid and I don't know what it's like in this universe, like, to because I have been surrounded by men before, and it was really scary and I didn't know what to do. um and now we're talking about a virtual world, and do kids, would they know, like, they might they might be like, oh, it's not real, so it's maybe it wouldn't be scary, and they would stick around too long, and then all of a sudden they're falling into the grooming,
Hmm.
because that's kids don't know what they're, I don't know, there's so many things that they might be surrounded by all these things, and they might think it's cool. They might not realize that they're in danger until the grooming starts taking effect. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, I'm with you. And then with
So maybe,
the
yeah. So
researcher
maybe the
posing as a young kid,
Mhm.
she realizes all these contexts,
Immediately, yeah,
and where
yeah.
a
But a
kid
kid might
wouldn't
just,
be like,
yeah,
oh,
like,
that's silly or funny, and then it just gets worse and
mhm.
worse and worse. Yeah. Okay. I'm
Yeah,
with you.
like offering a kid
Hmm.
alcohol, or offering kid candy, or these things where they're like, as an
Here's the
adult, you're like,
sex
what
toy.
is wrong with you? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, kids might be like, oh, this adult, thinks that I cool, and they want to hang out with me, which remember that when we were kids, like, seriously, you're hanging out with somebody that's how old? That's
Yeah.
gross.
Yeah. I
Um,
had a friend that was older. No, it
yeah,
wasn't hanging out
it
with me
doesn't.
because of anything, but I think he was hanging out with me because of who I associated with
Yeah,
my age
exactly.
group.
And then
Right. Yeah.
and then you realize when you're older, you're like, wait a second.
But I don't want to pass
You
judgment, but
Yeah,
I don't
but
know.
you thought that that person was cool. And the thing,
I
yeah,
did.
I think
I
that's
did. And looking back, I would have been like, I can't believe, like, yeah, no.
yeah. Yeah,
So, but I
and
was 17 and he was just in his later 20s, but
yeah, but still, like, really, when you're in your later 20s, why are you hanging out with
oh yeah,
17-year-olds?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I would completely agree.
Because there's nothing in common.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah. And
anyway,
that's
that's
like as an old person now, I'm not old, but as an older person, but
you
yeah,
are
I don't
old.
want to hang out with like really young
No,
people. It's hard. It's hard.
exactly.
It's
It's
not that I don't
weird.
want to, it's just we don't have anything in common. I don't even have
Yeah.
the same point of views.
Yeah,
So,
it's like, we can chit chat, but it's not like we're gonna be friends. And I think that's, I can see this being a similar thing. It just gives
yeah.
people more access
Yeah,
to,
your
and
points were
and
very
in a
good.
safer place. Yeah. So
Yeah, I did not consider that they don't recognize it. And then reading this, I'm reading it from the point of view of the researcher. So I'm like, just take your
mhm.
mask off. Just shut off the app. Like turn off the
Yeah.
game, whatever. It's not that hard. But yes, you are 100% correct that somebody that hasn't that isn't knowledgeable about the world, all right?
Yeah.
Could easily
And
be tricked
yeah, and
and
not see the
not see
danger,
the
or
danger. Yep. So please, just like any other gaming, any other online stuff, make sure you pay at least a little attention to what your kids are involved in and doing,
yeah.
and expect they're hiding stuff from you too. So just
Oh,
kind of like, just pay
totally.
attention a little bit. You don't have to like get all up in their business, but maybe you do if something bad is going on. So,
Yeah.
but this is something that is very possible because there's no safeguards in the metaverse right now. So definitely keep an eye out. We got a couple minutes. We're gonna end it up. Let's see. Yeah, let's end on we'll end on this one. So,
Ooh.
yes, wearables use sweat to show stress levels and other news. What? Where did this watch come from? You see how it's just sitting there? Where's their
That
watch band?
Yeah, I didn't see it go the other way. Super weird.
So this picture we're
I
looking
did
at
not
is just
notice
like a
either.
thing stuck in their arm. So is it like glued on or something?
Maybe it's like a cool wristband that it's like a C, and it just like clips on, kinda. Like maybe it goes around the other side. Is what I'm saying. Or maybe they just photoshopped it on there. They forgot the other part.
There's no
Sorry. I
words to
didn't
this.
I guess not. Sorry.
It's okay. I was just like, there's not.
This was totally my pull. Like, let's talk about this last. It'll be quick.
Yeah, but it's okay. But still, like, this is clickbait in a way
It totally is.
because I'm sure there's an article somewhere, right? And we're gonna find it
Mhm.
and we'll have it next time. I don't want to click on their website because it's like clickbait, but I'm gonna do it anyways because they baited me. Yeah.
They did.
Oh wait,
We
no,
we
it's just
fell
a
for it.
video. Okay, so I'm not gonna knock it too bad because it is a video. There's a minute 29 video, and since we don't have sound, we can't really figure out what's going on. But what is this device? This device is measuring your sweat to show stress levels. I think that's cool
That is
because
super cool.
that I found, I mean, when I do public speaking and I get up in front of like actual people, and it's like 30, 40 people or five. I've done it in a session one time. There's only like 5 people in there. And so it was kind of funny. And it's okay. But I sweat through like layers of shirts. It's not, like I can't wear enough shirts to not sweat through it. And like I've even tried to pick like deodorants that totally just stop any kind of sweat or anything. And so I totally could see how you could use sweat to measure stress. Now, people that have sweating issues, I don't know if this would work for you, so you might want to
Well, it says that it monitors the cortisol levels
in their sweat.
So,
Okay.
so maybe
It's looking for certain things in the sweat. So when you're stressed, your body produces certain enzymes or stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah,
or something, it produces something, and then they can measure that because it's coming out through your skin. But what if you're not sweating? Does that come out through your skin? So, and there's different layers of sweat, because when a lot of people think of sweat, they think of the dripping sweat, but then there's also just the basic moisture of your skin, right?
Yeah.
To help monitor, not monitor, help keep your temperature in check and stuff like that. So I think you're always in a way sweating, right? I think especially for you,
so.
living where you live,
Yeah,
just so humid.
I don't sweat a lot, but
You've gotten used to it, okay. Or you never really have sweated a lot.
I never really have.
Yeah.
Although I am getting older, and so that's changing. It's fun that our bodies change. I was telling Rick a while ago, I was like, I already went through this with puberty. I thought I was done, but my body's changing again, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to tell the world.
Tell the world.
Changing, and I don't like it.
Yeah, and it's okay not to like it too. That's just part of it. But then at the same time, it's okay. You don't have to like it. So cool.
You just have to. I'm not gonna suffer through it quietly.
So if you needed a new reason to buy a Fitbit, I'm sure they'll incorporate this technology, because you think about that, like they have to keep making you buy new ones somehow, so they'll just incorporate something new.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool.
I think this is cool.
So many things happen with your body when you're really stressed, and and sometimes you might not know.
I need my safe space.
Yeah, well, like we were talking about earlier, like, you got an upset stomach, but it feels hungry, but it does, wonder if you're stressed. Well, now this watch would tell you, like, oh, I didn't even know, but no wonder I'm not feeling good. I've got stress. What's happening in my life that's causing this or whatever.
Yeah, maybe you could, and maybe the stress isn't necessarily stress that's being caused, but something inside your body's causing stress. And, like you have some kind of health issue, underlying health issue, and this could maybe
is it internal or external? I think there could be a lot of uses for it. I don't know what they are, but it seems like it would be really helpful. People that need to stay out of stressful situations because of their hearts or whatever.
Yeah, have a weak heart or something. Yeah, like no, I gotta leave this area.
Yeah, like there's a monitor.
No. This is like what the researcher in the last article should have been wearing when she started getting stressed out in the metaverse. And be like, nope, that's the alert to leave the metaverse. Gotta go.
Genius. Yeah, like all of a sudden it's like, we put them on our kids, so then they can go hunting around in the metaverse, and we would know if they were in stressful situations.
Yeah, but again, back to if they don't recognize it's stressful. Then,
exactly.
So, all right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We really appreciate it. How we're going to exit today? Let's see. We did weirdo stuff last time with our movements.
Oh, yeah.
And we just shut off the one time. We haven't done just everybody have a nice weekend and good week. And,
yeah.
Right? So you can do it this time. You come up with it. You send us off, Darcy.
It's been real and it's been fun. Oh, but it has been real fun.
But it has not been real
I forgot
fun.
we were trying to be nice.
We were trying to be nice to ourselves. See, we were just trying to even be nice to ourselves. See ya. Yeah. But yeah, it's been real. It's been nice. I do agree. It's been real nice. Today's, I I got a good reception from Grandma when I went downstairs. She was like, "Ah, I love these articles." So
Oh, fun.
yeah, so we did good.
Nice. Because I like them too. It is a lot of fun to get on and just chit chat about what's happening in the world.
Yep. And so what's going on for next week? We have artificial intelligence, what it means to be creative, the James Webb Telescope, which is
Yeah.
something we really need to talk about. What was your question? Is it taking pictures yet? Not quite yet, I don't
Pictures
think.
yet? We don't know.
But maybe by next week it'll be ready to go.
Yeah,
And then
we'll do more research.
we'll do more research. We'll do actual research. Astronomers find two black holes, giant black holes, spiraling towards a collision. And then back to we'll always watch Anton. So we'll put some of his links up there and stuff like that. But
oh, real quick.
yeah.
Oh, you already closed it. Another channel that I really liked was on that.
It was on the side.
Yeah, it's a SciShow. PBS puts it on.
Here, hold on a sec.
It might not be there this time when you go to it.
Of course it won't be.
It's a
I've already lost it. Oh wait, there he is.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Oh, stop video.
Yeah,
and I know we got 1 minute.
One. Yeah. So SciShow is really good. It's where it says fish are way smarter.
Oh, right here.
I think.
Okay, cool.
SciShow. They get put on. This is put on by PBS, and then they have another show called Eons. They actually have several shows, but another one that I really like is Eons, and they'll talk about different things that have happened in the eons. So dinosaurs, early humans.
Eons. Okay, so we'll have to find that link because it's not showing up here.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Scott also. This was the one I mentioned earlier. So.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Have you've seen him?
No.
Or are you just saying, oh yeah?
No, I remember you mentioning him.
I was like, oh, you've seen him too.
No.
and just to give perspective, these aren't SciShow. Their videos 6.6 million views. Joe Scott 1.1 million. Anton still has a lot too. Let's see, what's he got? 500,000. So they're highly watched. All right, we're ending on time. We already said bye, so bye.
Bye.
I didn't want to keep you past your time.
Bye.